I'm about to show you what it takes to make a GPF model Audi S3 sound absolutely savage.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the garage with a new episode on this 2020 Audi S3. Now this is a GPF model, it's a 2020 model, so it is a GPF model, but it's not got a standard downpipe, I'm led to believe. I haven't looked underneath yet, just from the sound I can tell something's a little bit off, it's a little bit louder than they normally are. As you see, it's got different tailpipes on there. I have poked my head underneath, it is the standard exhaust back box, they are just welded on there. And terribly at that, they are very far in and sticking out further than others and that, so yeah, not a great job on the tips either. Aim of the game today is we're going to build a valved exhaust system for this, and we're going to demonstrate the sort of sound, what can be gained from one of these. If this has got no GPF on it, it will not be legal for road use. We'll have to have a look at that and take it by ear as we get underneath, and I'll show you exactly what's on there. And I am going to talk a bit about GPFs in this video as well, because I'm getting a lot of messages, a lot of questions, and a lot of them are relatively the same question, the same answers. So I'm going to try and cover them in this video for them. For anyone who asks, I can just simply send the video link, and that will save 20-minute of conversation on my part. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like then. So standard back box, standard resonator, but it has got a different downpipe. So let's have a little listen, see what we get. Let's try it in comfort initially, or efficiency. Okay, let's try it in sport. Let's flick that into dynamic, see if anything changes. Actually sounds better than when I was revving it. The valves are still there, they're still plugged in, but from what I can hear, nothing's actually changing. So let's have a look underneath this S3, what we've got. Now we've done some before clips. As I said, standard exhaust, it has just had some tips clamped and welded on there by the looks of things. See there, I just had the tips changed. So that's why it looks like it does. Now, this one has got a resonator in it. I was led to believe the GPF ones don't have a resonator in, but this one does, and this definitely did have a GPF from factory. So all that is all standard, which is why it's fairly quiet. As for the valves, as we said, I'm not too sure why the valves are not cycling. They just seem to be permanently open with no change whatsoever. So we are going to have to look into that a little bit. We'll see on that later on in the video. Now here comes the interesting part, what I want to talk about. As I said, downpipe is not stock. I could see that when I just poked my head underneath. This is a 3-inch BCS downpipe. Now, where those two cats are there, used to be particulate filters. Would look at almost identical to what that looks like, except the particulate filters, and then it would have a catalytic converter, which is right up there off the turbo. You can't really see it with everything in the way. But let me answer a million questions what I keep getting asked. People keep asking me, can I just put sports cat on and will it still be legal? Will it still pass an MOT? The answer should be no. It shouldn't, because those there are not particulate filters. It even says sports cats on them. If you look, it says 200 cell motorsport cat. Now, technically, although that looks like a GPF, that should still fail an MOT, because that is no longer the particulate filters what originally there. Will it pass an MOT looking like that? My honest answer is probably yeah, probably. But I don't want to start selling people expensive sport cat downpipes and then they do go somewhere and fail the MOT. So people that have asked me, when I say, will it pass an MOT with a sports cat in place of the GPF, I always say no, just to cover my own back. Hopefully this answers the question for you. Also, it's an expensive setup putting twin sports cats on like that. My honest opinion is, if you're going to take the GPF off, you're running illegally, your car's a track car. You may as well just reap the benefits and go full on DCAT, because technically speaking, that is still not legal. Sorry for rambling on, hopefully that makes sense to you. Will that pass an MOT? Maybe, but it may be not as well. So for the people that keep asking me, that's the honest answer to it. Will a sports cat pass an MOT on a GPF car without a GPF? The answer is no. it shouldn't do.
So with that out of the way, let's get to removing this exhaust system. Now this is really easy. You've got two 13mm on the centre exhaust clamp. We'll undo those. Then we need to move to the back and undo the exhaust rubbers. Now you've got one 13mm on one side, the exact same on the other side. Undo both of those. That releases the exhaust system. Then we're going to pop off the actual plug for the exhaust valve, both sides. These can be a little fiddly. Top tip, there is a little grey tab. Push that grey tab and they'll come off much easier. Once that's out of the way, lift the old exhaust system off. Easy as that.
Here's the old exhaust system all off. Here you can see the actual setup in much better view now it's not on the car. Over there is the original centre resonator. Not many GPF cars have them. That might just be an Audi S3 thing. I know certainly the Coupras don't have the centre resonator. But here's where the magic happens. Ginormous suitcase back box on these now. Huge thing inside. There's like a massive cylinder inside. One day I ought to cut one open really and show you actually what's inside one. But here's where the magic happens. Here's where the factory valve operation is. So I've just taken this off just to show you. So when the valves are closed, the gas will have to come out of these smaller tubes here and they'll be packing or chambers or something inside. And then the other ones will be a more direct path with less packing, less chambers or whatever. And it should make the car louder. As we've heard, there is an issue with the valve operation. It's not working. It's either been mapped into the open position or I don't know. I'm going to ring him and just check shortly because I do need to know if he wants me to put this on a fob or if he wants me to run them on factory style motors because the valve bodies are different. I do have both in stock, but it's no good as putting on factory motors if the factory motor has been mapped out because it won't work. We won't be able to switch between loud and quiet, which is the whole point of this exhaust system. So we're going to ring him, we'll have a chat with him, see whether he wants to put it on a fob or whatever. But yeah, there's the original system. Let's have a chat with him and we'll get building ours. There we go. Hopefully you all enjoyed watching that come together fairly quickly. I've not gone into much detail on that, just the main reason I've done similar jobs before on Golf Rs or whatever, so I've kind of flew through it pretty quick, try and get to the end result as fast as we can for you guys. But here's just a quick look at it, side by side with the original one. You can see the principle is very much the same. The inner tips will work when the valves are closed, the outer tips will work when the valves are open. You can see the bigger bore is the dominant one when the valves are open. You've got twin 3-inch bore. Once those valves open, this box will be completely bypassed altogether. The exhaust gas is not going to want to take a 90-degree turn into that pipe. It will just come straight out, straight past them. So very good for flow, very good for performance, but at the same time, the magic, we're still keeping the valves. When these valves snap shut, the exhaust gas has got nowhere to go. It's forced down these smaller tubes and out of the inner tips, thus making it quieter, giving you the both options for louder and quieter. The black tips are gorgeous. They're going to look really nice on this car. We've spaced them a little bit better as well, so they're going to suit diffuser much better. It should look absolutely fire. Last thing to do, let's get it up on the car and let's get it down for some sound checks. So there we go, folks, all sorted. Let's have a listen, see what it sounds like now. So this is initially is valves closed. It is all warmed up. We've let it have a warm up before we get some revs. So valves closed. Nice and quiet. Valves open. Actually sounds better than when I was revving it. Not gonna lie, absolutely savage sounding. I'm not sure if it's had pops and bangs mapped in. I don't think the guy knows where it's the pre-facelift ones, like Dan's, that had pops and bangs like a standard. Not sure if that's an added pop and bang map, I'm unsure. I'm not even sure if the lad knows, to be honest. He weren't even sure, he's not had it long. But yeah, very, very savage sounding. I'm not gonna lie, I expect it to be a little bit quieter than that. I've not put a mid-res in this because it's got big dual sports cats. I expect it to be a little bit tamer than that. Sounds absolutely savage. Hopefully he likes it. There you go. If you wanted to know what an S3 8V GPF model sounds like with a valved exhaust, with an aftermarket downpipe, now you know. You want to book your car in, all my information is in my bio. Message me.